hoping all is well, and today's video to me is exciting video. As you've seen at the beginning of the video, this is about kitchen utensils, and this one is all about knives. We're going to learn about kitchen knives today, the different edges that they have and what we use them for, and and how to take care of them. Okay, now we know that most of us have a block with knives in it, but most of us usually don't take the time to find out what they're used for. Now, we all know our standard, steak knives and all that, and we basically know what our chef knives are. Like this is a chef knife. Every household would have this if you have the block, So we're going to talk about, like I said, the edges. Like this is a smooth edge, a straight edge, okay? Most knives come either straight edge, they come with a serrated edge, and some even come fluted. But our chef knife that we have right here, this is the American style chef knife, and it has the straight edge. This is basically used for chopping and cutting and, just about all chopping we do in our kitchen. It's a great knife, and a lot of people like this particular knife and this particular style, because there are different styles, okay? So, standard, everyday, basic chef's knife with the straight edge, okay? Now, this is my all-time favorite right here. This is called a Santoku knife. And it's also called a Japanese chef knife. And this has a straight edge, but it also has fluted edge. Okay, the flutes are good for is when you're slicing something that's soft. But it also can be used for dicing and cutting vegetables and all that kind of stuff too. But yes, this is, like I said, my all-time favorite. I love this knife. If you can love a knife, that is. Okay, now, next we have a carving knife, which also has a smooth or straight edge on it. Okay, now I've also seen these, because I have one that has a serrated edge, and basically it's used for when you're carving meat that, say, it's cooked so tender and it's falling apart. Now the serrated edge carving knife is good for that. Okay, this is your carving knife, and these knives you usually have a fork to go with them, because you stick your fork in your meat and you carve, So yeah, your straight edge carving knife. Next you have what's called a serrated edge. This is also called a bread knife. This knife is used to slice bread. I also use it when I'm slicing tomatoes. If you get a tomato and the tomato feels kind of soft, then I would use this because it'll keep from pushing down. Because sometimes when you're trying to cut a tomato, slice a tomato with a dull knife, it just makes a mess. So a serrated edge is good for that too. But yeah, you basically slice bread with this, or use it for slicing soft fruits, like kiwis or anything else that's soft, okay? Then we have here, it's called a utility knife. That means it's your all-around knife for everything. It's a decent knife, this one feels almost like this one in my hand, but I still prefer to use this one. Okay, now this is your basic everyday utility knife, the go-to knife for everything. So yeah, and also has a straight edge. Okay, next we have a straight edge paring knife. All right, it's just standard paring knife. I like this knife. This is my second favorite, to the Japanese chef knife. I like to chop garlic with this little knife. When I get garlic from chopping, I chop up garlic with this little knife. But then after I cut it as small as I can get it, if I don't use a garlic press, then I would go back and then finish it up with this one. Okay, the paring knife. All right, next we have what's called a beak point paring knife. Now this one is good for, well, and this one too, even though I chop up garlic, I also peel fruit, peel apples and things with that knife. This is also for peeling fruit like oranges and apples and pears, because it has this rounded edge, and it does nicely, but I still prefer the straight edge one, you know, over the beak point. But some people might like this one better, you know. Okay, now these are our paring knives. All right, next we have the meat cleaver, the old cleaver for cutting through bones and like say you fix some beef ribs, you want to separate them bad boys, you just chop and you separate, you know. And but basically you can cut through bones with this, you know. That's what this one is for. Okay, now taking care of your knives. Okay, because nobody likes to cut with a dull knife. It could be dangerous trying to chop with a dull knife. So this is called a steel, or people call it a knife sharpener, but the technical term is a steel. And what you do is you take this to keep your knife sharp. And I would say whenever you're doing a lot of chopping and cutting, and you should do this, you know, quite often, especially around when we have feast days, set apart days, when we're doing a lot of cooking and chopping, we should always kind of keep our edges sharp on our knives. Okay, now there are other type knives, but these are the basic ones that you would need in your kitchen. And you really don't need all these, you know. To me, you would just need your chef knife, whichever one you like. Like I said, I prefer this one. Your bread knife, a good paring knife, and maybe even your cleaver, because, yeah, I would say your cleaver too. And you should also have your steel. And if you have a block, you should have one of these in your block as well, you know, because most blocks come with this, you know. And usually when you get your block, you get all these knives, and you get your steak knives too. I didn't put a steak knife up here because, you know, that's just the basic, you know, everyday knife. But anyway, I just wanted to come and share about our kitchen knives and how we take care of them and what they're used for. Yeah, so like I said, this is my favorite. Put down in the comments which knife you prefer. If you don't have one that you prefer, you can always go to the store and you can buy your knives. You can, even though this came in a set in a block, you can go to Walmart or even any store and get single knives. You know, you can buy these right here single by themselves. You know, because I have one at my house that's single, that I bought single, that's like this with the fluted edge. But I just love this particular knife. You can, like I said, buy them separately. You can buy them in a block, but when you buy them separately, you can get exactly what you want. But when you go and you buy them, make sure that your blade goes all the way through the handle, okay? Make sure they go all the way through the handle. Because if not, eventually that particular knife will break. You have, like, these are stainless steel type. But you can also get the ones with the wooden handles. You know, there are different types of knives. It's just that, and basically, you know, they have different handles, but they basically use for the same thing. Okay, now, like I said, leave in the comments your favorite type of knife and why you like that particular knife. I just like the way it feels in my hand, and it just, you know, it's easy to use. That's why this is my favorite. And the reason why this one is my favorite is I'm just used to using it all the time. It just works for me. Okay, now, okay, sorry you guys, I had to stop the camera for a minute. But anyway, as I was saying, if this is your first time watching my video, subscribe, share, give it a thumbs up, comment below. And be looking forward to the next installment of our kitchen utensils, because I'm looking forward to doing it myself. So anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.